This is the video tutorial for the Happy Days Sweetie Cone. You will need fabric for the outer, fabric for the lining and some fusible fleece interfacing. And this is how we make it. You'll need to cut one lining, one outer and one handle. You can cut the handle out of either the outer fabric or the lining. I'm using the lining fabric for contrast, and add some fusible fleece interfacing to your outer. If you are using directional fabric, this is the top of your bag, so ensure that the pattern is going downwards. I'm going to first iron my interfacing onto my outer, so place your interfacing with the glue side against the back of your outer fabric as I've done, and then carefully iron so it all sticks together. I'm going to put this to one side while we work on the handle. Place your handle fabric pretty side down so you're looking at the back, and fold it in half lengthways and press. Open out and place this edge on this centre crease. Once again, press and do the same, this edge onto this centre crease. And press, and then fold over press, add some clips. I've added my clips and I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and sew fairly close to the edge, all along the open side and all along the folded side. We'll start now by adding the handles. To find the position of the handle, place your outer fabric pretty side up, and your outer is the piece with the interfacing on. Fold in half and finger press, and take this edge and take it over to this fold. And take a clip and place it on that fold line. Then turn over and place this edge against this fold line. Finger press and take another clip and place it on that crease. Now carefully open out, and this is where our handles will go. Using the clips as markers, take your handle and place the raw edge against the raw edge of the top, and add that very same clip, and then bring it round and add your other clip. Now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and tack the handle quite close to the edge into place both sides. That's my handles tacked into place. Now I'm going to fold it in half, ensuring that my handles are facing down and tucked out of the way. And then along this edge I'm going to add some clips. One at the bottom. I'm now going to take it over the sewing machine and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew all the way down to the point and stop. That's my outer sewn all the way down to the point. I'm now going to work on the lining. We're now working on the lining. Place your lining fabric right sides up so you're looking at the pretty side. Fold in half. Line up this side edge and add a few clips. I've added some clips and I've also added my gap sign. I'm now going to take it over the sewing machine and once again using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, starting at the top to the gap sign and stop. Starting again at the other end of the gap sign, right down to the point and stop. Sewn along, remembering to leave my gap right to my point, and I've also pressed it to ensure a nice sharp crease along this side. I've lined up this seam with the crease I've made, and I've also pressed open all along. next step is to turn our outer bag the right way out. I've turned the outer the right way out and I've ensured that my handles are facing down, and now I'm going to put the outer inside the lining. I'm now going to line this centre seam and this centre seam up and add some clips all the way around. I've turned it round so you can see it. I've lined up my seam on my lining and my outer, and I've lined up the top edge of my lining and outer all the way around, and I've added some clips. I'm now going to take it over the sewing machine and using a 1/4 inch seam allowance sew all the way around. Sewed all the way around, and now I'm going to turn it the right way out by pulling it through the gap I left. I've turned it the right way out by pulling through the gap, and I've ensured that the points are all pushed out as well. I'm now going to take it over the sewing machine and sew up the gap I left in the lining. I've sewn up the gap, and now I'm going to tuck the lining inside the outer. I'll push the lining inside and pressed, and that's our Happy Days Sweetie cone all finished.